I just was dreaming as a kid in the projects in the ghetto, wanting to be, on top. And it was didn't seem like it could happen because there were so many great legendary artists out, and I was just a kid, and it seemed like something that would never happen, but it happened. The way I got into the business was, my dad plays jazz, and he brought me around studios and brought me in. I saw how it works, and I saw him working on jazz, and I saw him at concerts. So I wanted to, he taught me how to get in business by myself. So I did that, and I got up some money, and I went in the studio and recorded a demo with this brother called Large Professor, Main Source, and he put me on his album. And the rest was history. Everybody from Columbia Records was trying to get in touch with me, and MC Search was the one who brought me over to Columbia Records and made it all happen. Illmatic was one of the albums that, made today's rap what it is, along with Notorious B.I.G.'s first album and Wu-Tang's first album. It was one of the albums that changed rap music lyrically and everything. I spent my whole life from a kid until I finished that album, just working on that album, and I took 18 to 20 years to make that album, my first album. Then after that, it was like, okay, we need another album. You don't have 18 to 20 years, you got about a year. So my life changed just in a year from me being on the scene. And when it was time to do another album, I did another album, a different album. And so many people wanted the same thing that I gave them the first time, but that was impossible. And that was never my intentions to repeat the same sound. Every album should sound different. But, I finally shut up a lot of mouths when I made Illmatic. It's true, when I'm faced with a challenge, it makes me work harder, and that's cool. I get bored when the music gets boring, when people are making music that has no substance. And but when people are challenging me, whenever challenged, I rise to the occasion and come out on top. The albums that I made, Illmatic, it was written, I Am, The Firm, QB's Finest, Lost Tapes, Nostradamus, Godson. When I look back, I say, I was just a kid growing, and experimenting and learning, and each album I dropped made a big impact on the hip-hop scene and on the music scene. So I'm very happy about every album that I dropped. And some albums were bigger than others, some albums people like better than others, but to me they all represented its own different thing. They were all different, and they all were made for different reasons. Illmatic was like saying, all right, I did all the other songs, I made the songs that really were commercially successful. I made songs that got a lot of criticism. I made songs that hit the pop charts, made songs that were for the clubs, all of that. Illmatic, my first album, was in a class by itself and didn't conform for no one. So Illmatic would be the first album I've done in years to come closest to that. Friends about music, hip-hop music, we really go deep, and we think about albums that really changed our lives, or that raised us and taught us, and that really changed music and changed the world. Not just hip-hop, but all kinds of different music. So when I make an album, this is my attempt to try to be as great as those other great ones were. And my inspiration comes from like other musicians, other rappers and stuff, listening to them. I'm a big Scarface fan. I'm a big Outkast fan. Dead Prez, different, it varies, artists that were no longer here, John Lennon, and then going and starting to record so I can put out something out there that people can enjoy.